To no surprise, there are rumors regarding Apple's iPhone 12 expected to be revealed officially in fall of this year. Over the years, Apple has had a tendency to reveal their latest technologies in September, 2 weeks prior to the official launch of the iPhone. However, this time around, given the current circumstances with the pandemic and all, the reveal may happen at a later date, possibly even in 2021, leading to speculation that this may be the first year since 2007 that a new iPhone isn't revealed. As you know, leading up to the official release of any new technology, a lot of what you hear needs to be taken with a grain of salt. Some sources are legit while others aren't. Things can change leading up to the official launch, and sometimes sources are deliberately leaked false information by the companies to help prevent ruining the element of surprise. Either way, today on Life's Biggest Questions, we'll be counting down the top 10 things you need to know about the iPhone 12. What's going down, guys? Welcome back to LBQ. I'm your host for this one, Jarred Bronstein, and today we're talking about the iPhone 12. As always, let us know your thoughts on this video down below, but it appears you guys are enjoying the tech stuff, and I will say it's been fun to cover. As always, stick around to the very end of this one for some comment replies, but for now, let's jump right into it. So starting us off at number 10, the camera. It seems year after year, Apple has made it evident they want their phones to not only supply you with hours of entertainment, whether it be through music or apps, but also give people a chance to cherish their memories forever. Back in the day, you needed to lug around a heavy camera, but now, most iPhones have the ability to take photos that appear to match the quality of some of the best cameras in the market. Sure, you'll never get to change the lenses on an iPhone the way you could a camera, but that's why Apple is looking for ways to ensure you don't need to worry about that. Rumor has it the iPhone 12 is going to have a total of 3 lenses with LiDAR technology. In a nutshell, LiDAR detects how far or close a subject is using light in the form of a laser to determine the depth of field. It's going to make your portrait pictures look even more fire. However, there is a catch, as it appears depending on which model you're after will determine if you get the 3 lenses and LiDAR, or if you're getting 2 lenses and no LiDAR. Which brings us to number 9, the iPhone models. It's believed the company is going to roll out 4 new iPhones to be a part of the 12th installment of its legacy. Appropriately named iPhone 12, iPhone 12 Max, iPhone 12 Pro, and iPhone 12 Pro Max. The latter two, with Pro in the name, are expected to be significant upgrades from the iPhone 12 and 12 Max. In the past, Apple has fooled around with the idea of offering more cost-friendly phones with less features to consumers. There was the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, then the SE, which was released after the 6 but prior to the 7, which introduced the 7 and 7 Plus. It seemed to be a bit of a pattern, with Apple releasing new versions of their older phones about a month after the release of their newest technology, which usually came in 2s. Then in 2019 they dropped 3 phones in the iPhone 11, 11 Pro, and 11 Pro Max, making the first time in the phone's history that 3 options of the same phone were released simultaneously. It seems the 11 gave Apple results they liked, which has led them to being rumored to drop 4 versions of the same phone simultaneously. But as you can imagine, the most expensive phone of the group, the 12 Pro Max, which may be double the cost of the iPhone 12, is significantly superior when it comes to technology. At number 8, the display. To no surprise, depending on which phone you snag, will determine the type of screen you have. For the sake of this video, moving forward, I'll refer to the iPhone 12 and 12 Max as simply just 12, and the Pro versions as Pro. According to sources, the 12s will be equipped with Super Retina OLED screens provided by the manufacturing company BOE. The Pros, on the other hand, will have Super Retina XDR OLED screens manufactured by Samsung. Interestingly enough, BOE has been having issues meeting Apple standards when it comes to the phones, even though they supply Apple with the screens for some of their iPads and MacBooks. This may result in a delay of the phone's release, but truth be told, the pandemic may be the driving factor behind that. And don't worry, we'll talk more about price, release dates, and plenty more throughout the list, but for now, let's focus on our next point. Number 7, specs. As previously mentioned, there's going to be 4 models of the same phone, but as we know, they're going to be significantly different. Although I won't go through all the specs, I'll touch on some of the more intriguing ones, such as processing power, RAM, and storage. The 12s are expected to offer both 128GB and 256GB options, with a default of 4GB of RAM. The Pros, however, are expected to come in 128GB, 256GB, and 512GB, with 6GB of RAM. They're all going to have an A14 Bionic processor, but the 12s will have an aluminum body, whereas the Pros will be steel, offering more durability. Something many are likely wondering is if Apple is still going to be using their Lightning port or switching over to the fan favorite USB-C ports. So let's talk about that next. At number 6, the port. Multiple sources appear to believe all the iPhones that are a part of the 12th generation are going to be sticking with the Lightning port. With the majority of technology supporting USB-C ports, you'd think Apple would follow suit, especially after the European Parliament passed a requirement that, in its own words, is, I quote, the mandatory introduction of common chargers for all mobile devices. Considering how the Lightning port is exclusive to Apple, that means Android phones won't even have the option to switch, kinda leaves Apple with one choice. However, with rumors that Apple may be forced to move to the USB-C ports with their iPhone 13, there are claims that they may move move away from ports altogether and just have wireless charging. John Prosser, who's a reputable source when it comes to tech leaks, confirmed this replying to a tweet claiming Apple may go portless in coming years. His response read, "Yep, one portless iPhone coming next year, never USB-C. Eventually, they'll all be portless." Although I can't say 100% for sure that this is the case, it seems more than likely the 12 will certainly come with a Lightning port, regardless of which model you're after. Halfway at 5G. So what's the deal? Will all the phones support 5G? Just the pros? Well, this is a fuzzy one. It seems common belief is that all the phones will support 5G, but with that being said, they may not run the same type of 5G. The 12s will support only sub-6 GHz 5G, whereas the pros will offer both sub-6 and millimeter wave 5G. Now, if you don't really understand what that means, fear not, because I didn't either. But after some research, I can confidently tell you it simply means the pros are going to be able to download at insanely high speeds. We're talking up to 2 gigabytes per second. That's not to say the 12s can't support 5G, as they definitely can, but it appears the sub-6 when compared to the millimeter wave technology, while it's night and day when talking download speeds. Moving on to number 4, accessories. You don't usually think about what comes in the box when you get your phone, as it typically comes with some stickers, the charging cable, earphones, and obviously the phone itself. As we know, when Apple first introduced the Lightning port, they included a dongle, as it's referred to, which is an adapter to connect 3.5mm jack cords to your iPhone. There's also the Lightning port headphones, and although Apple pissed a lot of people off when they sent out the iPhone 11 Pro and Pro Max with an 18-watt charger, but left iPhone 11 users with the standard charging block, well, it seems the 12 may piss off consumers even more. However, it appears this time around, they're treating all consumers equally regardless of what phone you buy. Rumor has it the phones won't be coming with earbuds for the first time in Apple's history. As per Mac Rumors, Apple analyst Min-Chi Kuo is under the belief that the phone will not be shipped with any kind of headphones in hopes that it drives up the sales of AirPods. It's a risky move, and if it's true, not only will it upset consumers, but who's to say they won't just buy a cheaper pair of Bluetooth headphones? Now at number 3, design. Over the years, we've seen the physical design of the phones change significantly. As previously mentioned, it's rumored there's going to be 4 models this time around, but the phone's physical shape is also changing yet again. Similar to the iPhone 5's flat edge design, it appears the 12s are going to follow suit. Unlike more recent previous generations, which have adopted a more round-edged look, similar to the iPhone 3Gs, it seems the 12 is going back to the more square or rectangular look, if you'd call it that. Regarding the display, the 12 is going to be 5.4 inches, while the 12 Max and 12 Pro will both have a 6.1 inch display, and the top tier iPhone 12 Pro Max is going to have a 6.7 inch display. The notches at the top of the phones, where the camera, top speakers, Face ID technology, and who knows what else lives, are also expected to be smaller, giving even more room for the display itself. Now at 2, price. As excited as you may be after hearing how great the phone is going to be, you're likely going to be quite upset when you hear how much it's expected to cost. However, as I mentioned earlier, the cheapest phone is about half the price of their highest tier 12 Pro Max. As of now, it's believed the price points will be as follows. iPhone 12 128GB will be $649 USD, whereas the 256GB will be $749 USD. The 12 Max will be offered at $749 for 128GB, $849 for 256GB. Moving over to the Pros, as you can imagine, the price goes up, as do the options. The 12 Pro will offer 128GB, 258GB, and 512GB, with price points of $999, $1,099, and $1,299 respectively. Last but not least, the iPhone 12 Pro Max is expected to come in at $1,099, $1,199, or $1,399 depending on how much storage you're looking for, with the cheapest option offering 128GB, the middle at 256, and the most expensive at 512. And looking at the options, considering how the 512GB iPhone 12 Pro Max is actually more than double the 128GB iPhone 12, well, let's just say I'd expect it to be twice as good. Then again, it also has more than 3 times the storage, so that also has something to do with it. Alright, we've made it to number 1, and the only thing we haven't touched on is when the phone will be available. So in at number 1, release date. Now this is an interesting one because normally Apple tends to release their iPhones 2 weeks or so after officially revealing the new technology at their keynote event, which normally takes place in September. At least it's debuted in September every year since the iPhone 5, which debuted in 2012. However, now it appears that due to the pandemic, Apple may have to push back the event and release of their new iPhone altogether. The Wall Street Journal reported that production on the phones was pushed back a month due to the pandemic, leading many to believe it will be revealed in October. Others think it's possible that Apple will announce the phone in September, but will just push back the shipping date, which is similar to what they did in 2017 with the iPhone X. Some think the phone may not launch until 2021, while others are more optimistic that it may be released in the fourth quarter of the year, meaning November at the earliest. After Broadcom Inc., who's a major supplier for Apple, jumped on a call with analysts, it's led many to believe there will indeed be a delay. Broadcom CEO Hock Tan discussed a major product cycle delay at a large North American mobile phones customer. Now these are terms he's used in the past to reference Apple. He went on to confirm Broadcom is in regarding iPhones, but I quote, "The question is timing." He went on to say, I quote, "This year we do not expect to see this uptick in revenue until our fourth fiscal quarter. So accordingly we expect our wireless revenue in Q3 will be down sequentially." This just further pushes the belief the phone may be available in November, but it doesn't mean we won't get an official announcement in September. Seems time will only tell. And there you guys have it for the top 10 things you need to know about the iPhone 12. Let us know your thoughts below, and let me know which model you're thinking of getting. I may end up sticking with my 11 Pro because it wasn't cheap. Anyways guys, for now let's reply to some comments from the video. How much will the Xbox Series X cost? Yash Panzia said, "Whatever it costs, it's 100% more than I could afford." I feel like you could say the same thing about the iPhones. Like, who could afford a $1,400 phone? That's so expensive for a phone. Like, I got student loans, man. Dawn Star Guard said, "World War IV, sticks and stones. World War V, Microsoft versus Sony." I can't even say the comment without laughing because I actually find that genuinely very funny. I don't think I've ever seen anyone make the joke about a World War being Microsoft versus Sony, and I just think it's very funny for some reason. William Peterson said, "I loved this channel before, but after that intro, I really love this channel." And I think you're referring to the fact that I said that people that play PlayStation are simps. I'm assuming that's why you said that. Obviously, I was joking, guys. If anyone got offended, I'm not gonna apologize, because if you got offended by that, then you gotta take a look in the mirror. Anyways, guys, that's it for this one. I've been your host, Jarred Bronstein, and we'll see you in the next one.